now 9 a.m. The monthly meeting of the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors will come to order. This morning's meeting is open to all members of the community club and is being recorded for viewing on the community club website. To honor America, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence to remember those who have served and those who are serving in uniform. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pat, would you please call the roll of the board members?
Here.
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 Thank you, Pat. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our June 24th, 2021 board meeting. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I so move.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes for the June 24th meeting are approved. This morning in the audience we have Cumberland County Mayor Alan Foster, our 9th District County Commissioner Colleen Mall, and our 6th District County Commissioner Joe Sherrill. Welcome to all of you, and Mayor, if you have some comments you'd like to share.
I do, thank you, Ken. Just very few items. The county commission had replaced, and we do have a new assessor of property. You may recall that our former assessor, Lori Powell, passed away, and in the Monday night meeting, she was replaced with Sandy Gilbert. The commission appointed her with 12 of the 16 votes, a solid majority. As soon as she was appointed, I swore her in, and she took her oath and was official. She is a longtime employee of the county in that department, 20 plus years, and with the reassessment coming up, I think many felt that that experience was valuable, so she is the new assessor until the elections next year, and we will see who wins that one. The Election Commission has officially moved Northside Drive, so if you need to register, do anything with the Election Commission, it's over on Northside Drive now, and that's where you'll early vote and everything else. So be sure to note the change in locations there. The Budget Committee has moved the budget out of committee and to the full commission. There will be a budget hearing and a vote on the budget on August 10th. That's tentative, but it's probably going to be August 10th. Looks like everything's going to get done in time, so that is when the county's budget. It is a balanced budget. There's no tax increase, but it does address several needs that have come up through the past year. Last thing, our COVID-19 is rising a bit. As of yesterday afternoon, we had 45 active cases. Now, that's still way lower than the 861 we had at the peak of it. But just to let you know, the Cumberland County Health Department, anybody that wants tested or vaccinated for free, you can still go to the Cumberland County Health Department. It is back on site, on premise at the health department because the demand has shrunk. But it's back there in case you need it. It is my honor to be your mayor, and if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Mall, do you have any comments that you'd like to make? No? How about Commissioner Sherrill? Okay, thank you. Then the July comments from the across the board. Often when an avid sports fan speaks highly of their favorite team, we say they bleed the color of their team. For instance, if a University of Tennessee fan sings the praises of a UT sports team, we say that fan bleeds orange and white. This month's across the board message is going to bleed blue. And yes, our comments this month come from a group of avid fans of our Fairfield Glade Police Department. We are exceptionally proud of our Police Chief Mike Williams and the team of dedicated law enforcement professionals that he has assembled. In May of 2019, we were pleased to announce that our Fairfield Glade Police Department, under Chief Williams' leadership, became only the 35th law enforcement agency out of over 600 Tennessee agencies to achieve CALIA accreditation. The Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, CALIA, is an internationally recognized accreditation commission that derives its credentialing authority from the 4 major law enforcement professional membership organizations. The commission was created to develop a set of universal law enforcement standards and accreditation process by which law enforcement agencies at the local and state levels can demonstrate voluntarily that they meet professional gold standards in public safety. This year, the department successfully completed its 2-year reaccreditation assessment, and this is an extraordinary accomplishment for a department our size. This week, Chief Williams met with the Tennessee Law Enforcement Accreditation Program, TALIA, and was notified that our Fairfield Glade Police Department would be recommended for state accreditation, making our police department only the 25th duly accredited agency in the state of Tennessee. The Board of Directors, on behalf of the members of the Fairfield Glade Community Club, thank Chief Williams for his exemplary leadership and his command staff of Major Wes Pemberton, Captain Mark Rosser, and Lieutenant Kate Self for their outstanding efforts to make these achievements possible. We now have 2 highly respected law enforcement accreditation agencies certifying what we already knew. Our Fairfield Glade Police Department is an example of the best in 21st century community policing, led and staffed by an exceptional team of dedicated law enforcement professionals. The Board of Directors also joins the Fairfield Glade Police Department in the belief that it is critically important to recognize our officers, their actions, and outstanding efforts in service to our community. In keeping with this belief, we will be recognizing the outstanding life-saving efforts that occurred on May 30th by 3 members of our police department. On Sunday, May 30th, units of our Fairfield Glade Police Department were dispatched to Markham Lane in Fairfield Glade. Officers were being dispatched to an unresponsive male who was not breathing. Robert Ellis, age 67, was experiencing a major cardiac event. His wife, Georgie, had started CPR when the Fairfield Glade police officers arrived at the residence. Sergeant James White, Officer Stephanie Penska, and Officer Donnie Hammonds arrived on scene within 5 minutes of the 911 call. Our officers began life-saving efforts by performing CPR and attaching the automated external defibrillator. Our officers continued CPR and delivered a shock from the AED. Cumberland County EMS units arrived on scene, and our officers assisted Cumberland County EMS in preparing Mr. Ellis for transport. Chief Williams stated, "There's no doubt that the quick response of these officers contributed to the saving of Mr. Ellis's life. Our officers are prepared to perform these life-saving measures 24 hours a day and 7 days a week." Sergeant James White, Officer Stephanie Penska, and Officer Donnie Hammonds will be receiving the Fairfield Glade Police Department's Life-Saving Award later this morning. This morning, the Board of Directors will also be considering a Chief of Police resolution that will document the delegation of powers, duties, and responsibilities to the Fairfield Glade Police Department's Chief of Police. This resolution will become a governing document of the department and is consistent with the administrative best practices associated with our CALIA accreditation. Here are the latest updates on our major capital projects. We continue to experience a strong positive response to the new Mirror Lake entertainment area known as the Grove. We'll be adding additional food vendors as needed to meet any increased demand from event goers, and we continue to enjoy an exciting summer entertainment season. The newly renovated Stonehenge Grill continues to experience strong support and usage. Construction on the Racket Center renovation project is nearing completion on the new addition. Once the new addition is complete, renovation work on the existing original Pro Shop temporary entrance and check-in locations will begin. We are optimistic that the project will be completed in October, depending on the weather and material availability. We've started the initial planning for the next phase of the Robin Hood Park expansion project and look forward to additional community amenities in time for Memorial Day next year. We've received the latest revisions to the initial architectural drawings and are reviewing alternatives to update the Heatherhurst snack bar area. And recently we announced the formation of the Druid Hills Advanced Planning Team as the first step of the initial planning process to determine what the next Druid Hills Clubhouse facility should provide for our growing community. Additional information concerning the Druid Hills Advanced Planning Team will be announced soon. And that is our July update from across the board. The next item on the agenda is the Treasurer's Report. Bruce?
Good morning. Everybody's really sullen this morning, so. We had a great first half of 2021 financially. I'd ask you, as I read through this, to refer to the balance sheet data as well. The parentheses numbers coincide with the numbers on the sheet. Sewer, we started the year with a little over $3 million of cash. We ended June with $3.5 million of cash compared to $2.7 million of cash at the end of June 2020. And it's a positive variation of $837,000 some dollars. For the POA, we started the year with $2.5 million of capital cash. The end of the month of June with $1 million of capital cash. And I'll remind you that the reduction is primarily due to paying off the Stonehenge loan. For operations, we started the year with $3.7 million of operating cash. Ended the month of June with over $5 million of operating cash. Started the year with a total cash of $6.3 million, ended June with $6.3 million compared to $4.1 million at the end of June of 2020, which is a positive variation of over $2 million. The debt service reserve now stands at $34,353. We'll continue to reserve the debt service savings from paying off the Stonehenge loan, and we'll use those funds either to reduce the amount we need to borrow, or we'll use it to pay the debt service if in fact we acquire a loan. Wanted to tell you about an issue that the board has been dealing with in executive session over the last couple of months. We're studying options for replacing our current $5 million line of credit with a $7 million line of credit due to the current favorable interest rates. In addition, because of that, the center and all 4 golf clubs were used as collateral for the $5 million line of credit. If we elect to move forward with the new $7 million line of credit, we have talked with the bank, and we would only use Druid and possibly Dorchester golf clubs as collateral, which then removes the center, Stonehenge Golf Club, and Heatherhurst Golf Club as collateral, which frees them up. The center, Stonehenge Golf Club, and Heatherhurst are currently tied to that $5 million line of credit. The $5 million line of credit, if you remember, was established in 2017 when we refinanced the Stonehenge loan. And we never have pulled any money from that loan, so our line of credit, so we haven't needed it. So you might say, well, why are we doing this? Well, for an organization of this size and magnitude, we need a line of credit in case of disasters, and so that we don't have to do anything different from our financial standpoint. Plus, we can draw on that as we do projects, and I'm thinking of when we get ready to actually do what we're going to do at Druid, then we can pull on that line of credit to borrow the money to do that if we need to. But again, I'll say since 2017, we haven't touched that line of credit at the bank. I always think of the line of credit like your credit card. You have a limit on how much you can borrow against your credit card. That's all this is. Very similar, just bigger money. But it's a line of credit that if we need it, we've got it. But it's an example of where we have had this discussion in executive session for the last couple of months. We had meetings with the bank, and I'm here to present this to you for information. Next month, we will have made a final decision on a proposal on what we are going to do around this line of credit. I will be presenting that proposal to you, and then in September, after we receive feedback after that proposal to the members, we will actually take a vote in September as to whether we will do that or not once we consider the feedback from our membership. Moving on to the cash flow sheet, sewer continues with strong results and a positive variation in the budget of over $200,000, driven mostly by higher than expected tap fees due to more new home builds, plus reduced grinder pump maintenance, overall maintenance material, and wage cost reductions. The POA net operations has a positive variation in the budget of $365,000. The major contributors there include higher than expected assessment revenues, recovery of bad debt due to an increased emphasis on collection efforts, which equates to a total positive variation of over $55,000 just in that. Community maintenance contributed a positive variation of $160,000, driven by savings in wages, contractor services, and reduced R&M expenses, plus higher than expected revenues from home building permits due to increased home construction in addition. And marketing and events was positive over $72,000, driven by increased stay and play revenues and $32,600 plus reduced department and wages. The amenity operations is positive by $315,000 to budget, with F&B positive $51,800 to budget. The marinas contributed a positive variation of over $106,000 due to increased revenues from slip fees and the pontoon boat rentals, and reduced costs and wages and benefits and operating expenses. Golf continues to be positive with a year-to-date variation of over $94,000, driven by the fact that we're 5,857 rounds above budget. I will tell you though that the golf packages are the biggest contributor to the increased rounds. Our preferred members are actually under budget. In other words, our residents are playing less rounds than we expected, but our golf packages are way up, so that's a good thing. Overall, the POA and amenities operations is favorable over $680,000 to budget, which is a great place to be when you're starting into the second half of the year. Any questions? Yes, sir.
What's the market value of Druid, and what's the market value of George?
We are going to find that out. The bank is going to do assessments of both of those, and I should have that next month hopefully have that next month when we talk about it. Anything else? All right, thank you very much. Always email me if you want. My phone number is also on the website if you'd like to chat about anything.
Bruce, would it be appropriate to announce that Stonehenge this month made a profit?
Yeah, well, and that's why food and beverage was positive year to date. Right, exactly. Good point, Jamie. That's why I paused when I said F&B.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. The next item on the agenda is the general manager's update. Bob?
All right. Segue into Jeannie's comment. Stonehenge Grill had a very strong month in June with $212,000 in sales, and that's better than combined Legends and Stonehenge Grill sales in 2019. So we've kind of forgot about 2020 because of COVID, but in 2019 the combined sales were only $191,000. So our members and guests are really coming out and supporting Stonehenge Grill, which we really appreciate that. And as Jeannie indicated, that generated a positive income, net income of $25,000. Usually during the busy season, the summer busy season, we will make a profit at Stonehenge, but $25,000 is a very decent profit for the month of June. So we're pleased with that, and that obviously helped the variance be positive to the tune of $51,000 through June. Year-to-date golf rounds for last month were 67,000, and as Bruce mentioned, that was about 6,000 more than budget. For the year, average rounds per course per day open were 116, and that compares to 105 in 2019. So again, we've got a lot of pent-up demand. People are out there playing golf. We're seeing that also at the Racket Center with pickleball tennis, and obviously at the marinas as well. So overall, the amenities are doing great. A lot of pent-up demand. Weather's been pretty good. Less rain this year than last year, so that's helped considerably. Yesterday at our workshop, one of our members asked about providing guest count numbers for our restaurants, and actually those are included on the food and beverage executive summary that we put on the website. So if you go to that schedule, it's the food and beverage executive summary, and out to the right you'll see 4 columns. The first column is covers. That is your guest counts. So covers in the food and beverage industry is another name for guest counts. Then the next column is RPC. That is your revenue per cover. Then labor hours, so we can see the labor. And then LHPC is the labor hours per cover. So that information is out there to the right on that executive summary if you'd like to dig into that. And again, if you have any questions about that, please give me a call. I'll be happy to answer that. The other item is Rogers Group. We're still working with them on the paving schedule. So I doubt it will be this month, but probably August. And of course, August and September are the prime months to do that because of warm weather. So we'll keep you all updated on that. And as we see a particular road is going to start to be paved, we'll send out an email on that so you can kind of avoid that area. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Bob. The resort report this morning, Barb is unable to be here, so I will share the information with you. In June, the resort visitors contributed $206,707 to the community club. Year-to-date totals for the center are $9,167. That's 7% of the like department revenue. Racket sports is up to $5,786. That's 5% of department revenue. Dartmoor was $60,207. That's 35% of revenue. The St. George Marina, $20,923, 16%. Golf, $385,201. That's 12% of like revenue. And then food was $114,375, which is 17%, for a grand total of $595,642, which is 13% of revenue. And year-to-date timeshare visitors is 30,537. The next item on the agenda is the Architectural Control Committee update. Sam?
Thank you. The Architectural Controls report for the month of June, new homes approved, including manufactured homes, is 58, compared to through June of 2020 was 48, and new homes completed, including manufactured homes through June, is 42, compared to 2020, which was 39. Any questions?
Thank you, Sam. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. And last month, the Ladies Club made a presentation to the board. On Monday of this week, we received a 32-page package from the Ladies Club. And so to give adequate consideration to the additional information, the board has decided to defer action